It's 10 a.m. and this is Utah's best sports radio.
Say my name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, let's get it, folks. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you're all having a tremendous Thursday. We are out and about today. We are live here at Timpanogos Golf Club in Provo. It is the BYU Football Golf Kickoff Extravaganza thingy. I always, we used to have a media day when BYU was independent. And this is kind of the genesis of this because there was always the conference media days, and for so many years when BYU and Utah and TCU were in the Mountain West Conference, every summer we'd head on down to Vegas to the Green Valley Resort there in Henderson, and they did a great job. The Mountain West always threw a first-class effort, and then it was, we got to chat with all the coaches, all the players. It was great. And then 2010, 2011 hit, and everybody went their separate ways. TCU went to the Big 12. Utah went to the Pac-12. BYU went independent. So when BYU went independent, then they didn't have a conference to have media day, so they would host their own media day. It would always happen near the end of June, and they did a great job with it. It was down at the BYU broadcast building, and they did a fantastic job of putting together a great situation. And then BYU ends up going to the Big 12. So now they do have conference media days, but they still thankfully throw a little get-together for us in the media and give us some access to some of the players and coaches. And so here we are, Timpanogos Golf Club. So that's the genesis of how this all got started. And it's just a nice way to kick off the season, a nice way. Everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's undefeated. Nobody's really banged up. No torn ACLs as of yet. So we should have a fun show today. We anticipate talking to a lot of guys. Also coming up a little bit later on in the show, you will hear from John Wilner, get his thoughts, and we'll also hear from Howard Mandel as well. So there is a lot to break down as we get you ready again for the start of college football. DJ and PK, Patrick Kinahan, and Riley Jensen were down here earlier today. In fact, I believe they're out on the golf course as we speak. And they had a chance to chat with Andrew Gentry and former BYU player Kelly Harris.
Andrew Gentry, who is a transfer from Michigan, and we were just laughing about how he comes. Now, I believe you're from Colorado, right?
Yes, sir.
And so then you were at Michigan 3 years?
Yep, 3 years.
And then you came
Michigan.
here, and this is you're going to start offensive lineman second year, third year?
Second year at BYU.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so the funny thing is everybody knew about you, and Jim Harbaugh recruited you. We all remember that story, blah, blah, blah. And you leave Michigan, and then a bunch of guys from Utah, the state of, go to Michigan.
Yep.
Tell us that story.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, for me, I feel like it's a pretty surreal, almost full circle moment, right, to be at the University of Michigan for 3 years where there was no Utah connections, no connections to the church, nothing like that of the sort out in Michigan. So you're really you're different out there, right? You're definitely in a different world. And then, to come to BYU to make the connections with Coach Hill, with Coach Gifford, all these different people. And then all of a sudden they shift to go to Michigan, right? Yeah. And they're in that new world. And I remember having conversations with Coach Hill after he had taken the job and him discussing some things with me that he had seen at Michigan, even just members of the church out there that he had known now and all the connections that I had made out there. So it was cool to see that aspect of things. And it's kind of crazy to look over there now and talk to my old Michigan teammates and they're like, oh, yeah, your old defensive coordinator's now coaching me. And so kind of a full circle crazy moment for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So here you are at BYU starting offensive lineman. Expectations, I would think that's something that you would embrace because obviously they're extremely high, and I think you'd rather have that than not.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think we're in a great spot, and I think the cool thing and the shift from this year is you look back at BYU over the past few years and expectations are not very high in a lot of standards, right, whether that be as a team, as an offensive line, whatever it is. And now to come into the season with expectations high is a great thing. Either way, to us, it doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, what the media says, what people are saying about you, it doesn't matter because all that matters is how you play on a Saturday. But it's great to be able to show up and to have these expectations because pressure's a privilege and we'll rise to the occasion.
So as an offensive lineman, I'm just thinking for all the young quarterbacks that are out there, right? I think you've mentioned that, Bear just garners instant respect.
Yeah.
What is it What is it that you're looking for as an offensive lineman in a quarterback when you're looking for that leadership? What is it that you like to see? What is it that you think stands out about Bear in particular? And then what do you think with the great quarterbacks you played with that helps them to be on your level or someone that you want to play with and be around?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, as an offensive lineman, our main goal is to always have the quarterback's back, right? To make sure that no matter what situation, we're protecting him and that's our job, right? Is to protect the quarterback, protect the running backs, do everything we can to protect them. So from a quarterback's perspective, I love it when you know that they have your back as well. Because I've had some quarterbacks, I've played with some quarterbacks in the past where that's not necessarily the case. And
it's just all about them.
It's all about them, yeah. An offensive lineman makes a mistake, and they're going to just chew out the offensive lineman really fast. And so one thing I love about Bear is, obviously we're never going to play perfect, right? As a whole team, it's never going to be perfect. We try really hard to be as close as we can, and we're going to protect Bear with everything we have. But at the end of the day, if somebody makes a mistake, somebody gets beat, Bear's not just going to turn and start chewing out the offensive line. I mean, there's never been a quarterback that's gone a season with 0 sacks, right? And hopefully we can be the first this year. But, that's just not how the game of football works. But when you can have a quarterback that you know is going to have your back, that's not just going to turn his back on the O-line, that's what I love, right? Because then you know that you can trust him, he can trust you, and then it just makes things so much smoother.
Andrew Gentry, returning starter on the offensive line for the BYU Cougars, joining us here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Also, too, we expect a lot out of Bear because this is his second year. But you have the returning Offensive Player of the Year coming back in L.J. Martin. That's got to be something that you look forward to opening some holes for him.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the great thing about having a great running back is it opens everything up. When I played at Michigan on that national championship team, we had Blake Corum in our backfield, and you have Donovan Edwards in the backfield as well. And so when you have weapons like that, it forces the defense to be honest, and then it makes great quarterbacks as well, and vice versa, right? When you can have a great rushing attack and a great passing attack, which we will have this year, it opens up so much because the defense has to play you honestly. They have to bring guys up to stop the run, and then we'll throw it over their heads. They have to play guys back because we've got great receivers and a great quarterback. And then we can run the ball for 6-7 yards with LJ all the time. And so it's just an incredible duo to have back there of a great passing game with Bear and our wide receiver core, and then with LJ back there, it's going to be a great year for us.
We were talking yesterday a little bit about the BYU offense and how much you can open up the playbook and not. And I kind of feel like it depends on your players, and it depends on, early in the season, you push some of those limits to see what you can do. Is there anything different about this offense this year? Is there anything different that you guys think that you'll be able to do offensively, both as a line? First, answer that as a lineman and with your group, and then answer it a little bit more broad with the offense.
Yeah, I think the great thing about the O-line this year is there's a lot of cohesion from last year. We all know how to play with each other. We know each other's strengths, each other's weaknesses, and so there's a lot of trust that, one of the great things in offensive line that I've seen is when you don't have to say anything, but you just know what the guy next to you is going to do. It helps you play so much faster. And so as an offensive line, maybe not as much that we're trying new things this year, but we can play so much faster that I think we can call a lot of plays that might be tricky for a new offensive line to run, but because all of us have starting experience, whether that's at BYU or at different schools, and all of us have played together for a while, we're going to be able to play so much faster and so much quicker. And then I think as an offense, that's just the case in general as well. I mean, just like we talked about, it's Bear's second year. I mean, LJ is the best running back in the country. And so we just have so many different options that we can play together and do different things. So, but at the end of the day, it's still football, right? And we've had a lot of success as an offense of what we've done and what A-Rod has drawn up. So, without giving too much away, I don't think we're going to change too much up, right? Just because, what works, you don't want to change up. But at the same time, I'm sure that we're going to open up the playbook a little bit just to utilize our strengths of what we have this year.
What's interesting is, you hear that players and coaches, they're not interested in any preseason polls. They're not interested in any media opinions about what is said about them. Maybe they might use it as motivation if it's negative, but that's not the case with BYU this year. There's very little that's being said that's negative. So that's over here, but at the same time, you guys know what your expectations are, and so since you 2 years ago tied for the regular season, didn't get in on a tiebreaker. Last year you got in. We know you lost to Texas Tech. So now it's basically a conference title game, maybe even playoff or bust. I mean, that's what I got to believe you guys are thinking. But at the same time, how do you keep your focus to make sure, because that's still 3-4 months away?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a process, right? It's a process-driven team. It's a process-driven sport. And so every day you have to look at it as, what am I doing today to become the best version of myself? And that's what we look at BYU. That's what Kalani preaches. That's what all of our coaches preach, is every single day doing the little things that are going to make you the best. But at the same time, you have to have the vision that that's what you're going for. And for us, our vision is a national championship. That's what we're shooting for. That's what we want to do, right? And that needs to be talked about. That needs to be said, because if you don't believe it, then nobody believes it, right? If you don't believe that you're going to do it, then you've already lost. And so for us, yeah, we full-heartedly believe that we can win the national championship and that we can go win the Big 12, be in the playoff, and then go win. Because that's what we've been working for. That's what we want to do. So, yes, at the same time, you do have to stay focused on the process. So right now our process is, let's go have a great fall camp so we can beat Utah Tech week 1. And so that is our focus, because if we don't do that, then we're never going to reach any of our goals. But at the same time, yeah, we're always talking about how we want to go win a national championship.
I like that thought process. I always tell the teams that I work with, the athletes that I work with in sports psychology, if you don't have a vision that you can be an all-conference player or an all-American player, and if you don't, as a team, have that thought process that you can win a national championship, well, then I can give you the Riley Jensen guarantee that comes with a warranty that you won't.
Right.
Like, you're never going to win it if you can't see yourself doing that. I want to ask you just a technical question. This might be a little bit too geeky for some of our listeners, but when you guys make calls for protection, is it your quarterback that calls it, or is it the linemen that are calling the protection calls at the line of scrimmage? Yeah,
so it's a great question. So, I mean, we have a bunch of different protections that we already have in our playbook, right? That will be part of the call when we get the play call. And so that'll tell us if it's a 5-man protection, 6-man, 7-man protection, whatever it is. Then from there, it's on us as a line. And so
the line does it.
The line does it from there.
I just know from playing that, a 4-4 front is different than a 4-3, because a lot of times the center has to work to the left or work to the right based on the running back.
Exactly.
So when that happens, you get a 4-4 look or an even look, your center is the one making the call to left. Exactly. See, because I always liked it when I called it as a quarterback, because if I miss the call and my jaw gets knocked off, I'm not going to miss that call again.
Right.
If the offensive line misses it, they'll help you up, and they feel bad, but they might miss it again. So I always put it on the quarterbacks instead of the linemen to make the right call.
Well, it's a good thing when we have Bruce Mitchell playing center, because he doesn't miss very often. He's pretty good at getting us in the right spot, and that's the other thing, too, is we've got a lot of veterans on the O-line, too, that we help each other out, and Bruce is the one making the call 99% of the time. But when we can help him out with that 1% to shift it, and at the end of the day, Bear can override anything. So there are times where Bear will get up there and he can override a protection, but 95% of the time it's Bruce making that call and us helping him out.
That's kind of fun. I just love that part of the game. It's the chess game, right?
No doubt.
And then there's always the little tandem calls that you guys are making with the guard and the tackle. Like, you'll see a corner coming off, and you're like, hey, I'm going out to this guy. You got to slide out here. I mean, there's just – people don't understand how much talking is going on between those 5 guys up front.
It's a lot.
And then Bear has to time it out and snap the ball, and you guys all have to then go in the right place.
100%.
It happens so fast.
It does. It's a whirlwind that you got to be ready for, and that's why film is important. And Coach Woods does such a good job of that communication piece and teaching us the game, so you can make those calls and play confidently.
It's the best chess game in the world.
No doubt about it.
And here I thought, and I played freshman football in high school, I thought you just have to knock the guy in front of you on his butt and you're good to go.
Well, there is some real truth to that too, though.
There is.
As much as we want to complicate it, it's still about blocking and tackling.
100%. That's what it is. Just beating the guy in front of you, and you can win your one-on-one matchup.
Yep.
Then you'll do pretty solid.
Andrew Jensen, offensive lineman for BYU. Did I say Jensen? Gentry.
You did. I'm
Jensen.
Riley Jensen. He's
You're
Gentry.
Hey, it's great. Thank you guys so much.
I want to throw one more at you. You already talked about Bruce as your center, and I was going to hit that, but you guys took it in depth way better than I could anyway. And you got Utah Tech as a non-conference game. And normally the way the schedule plays is that you play your 3 non-conference games, then you get into conference. But because of the Notre Dame game, that is in October 17th, I think it is. Everything had to be jumbled around. So you get Arizona, which had a phenomenal season last year. You get them in first conference game, which is only in the second week, and then you play some conference games. Then you go back into non-conference with a national power. Obviously, you lived in the Midwest. You know all about Notre Dame, I'm sure, and all that they have involved there. Just speak to the schedule of how you get a big-time conference matchup, 1:30 on national television at home in week 2, and then you got to play, and then you got to go regroup, get a non-conference game and all that, because it's a little unusual.
Yeah, definitely unusual, definitely different, but at the same time, we've been trained for this. Our strength coaches do a great job of keeping us on our toes in summer workouts even, to the point where we know that change is inevitable, right? That it's going to be different. It's not always going to be smooth. So I'm excited for it. I mean, because you got to be in mid-season form by the time week 2 rolls around.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
by the time week 1 rolls around, right? I mean, playing Utah Tech, and then my best friend is the right tackle at Arizona, so I know how good they are. He is, yeah. So
how'd that work out?
We played at Michigan together.
Oh, cool.
And then we both transferred at the same time. He went to Arizona, I went to BYU. So now it's fun that we get to, we had the time at Michigan together to be teammates, and now it's playing for bragging rights, and I'm up 1-0 on him, so trying to make it 2-0
The good part is in that rivalry is that you guys are playing at different times, so you can make fun of him while he's playing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Really?
I can
That's
chirp him on
your
the
best
field.
set right there?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, Andrew, I am an ASU grad, so you must win that game.
There we go. Let's do it. We can do that.
I'm going to ask just one thing.
Yeah.
Just beat the Cats on the second week of the season.
And beat down the Sun Devils, because I can't stand it when they win.
No.
Being around PK
We're not
when they
gonna
win
talk
is
about
obnoxious.
that game. We're not going to talk
Beat
about
them
that game.
down.
We can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for joining us. And you a golfer?
I like to swing it a little bit. I wouldn't call myself a great golfer, but I can hit them.
Did you get an opportunity to play Barton Hills there in Ann Arbor?
I never got a chance to play there. I played on the UMich course a ton, though, right there.
Okay, yeah. It's a country club. I've played golf with Whittingham a bunch, and I know he's wants to play there. And that course, I think, opened like 1911.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's some golf history out there for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck this season.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Great to meet you as well.
There he is, Andrew Gentry, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. All right, so how'd you do?
Have you seen Caddyshack?
I've watched Caddyshack many, many, many times.
You know the round of In the Rain that the father has, the priest?
Yes.
Everything's just kind of going right.
Yep.
That was for me today. I don't know where. I leave my golf game, at a place and pick it up maybe 18 months later and see where it is. And we did some good stuff. We were, I think, PK and Jackie and I were 5 under through 7 when I passed the torch to Ryan. I mean, to
Jake Hatch. And Jake's going to give him a little bit of distance. He's going to.
Oh yeah, they will. Now they'll flourish.
I doubt that. Jackie came out. She's like, your co-host is a sandbagger, and I'm like,
did she really?
She's like, he says he's no good. He's really, really good. I'm like, I knew it. I've called it forever. I know that. There's certain people out there that you just know are good golfers, and yeah.
Well, it was fun. It was a great way to start the day. But as the clock neared 10, I couldn't wait to get over here and be with my guy.
Let's go. So it's BYU Football, essentially the Kickoffs Classic here at Timpanogos Golf Club. I have never golfed this course before. It's a nice course.
Yeah, it's it's a little reminiscent of the European the game where they just played the British Open or the Open.
Yeah,
it's a lot of shag and. I would imagine you could come out here and do some wonders with some of the areas.
It's a little bit more open.
Right. But it's shorter, plays pretty short. And it's great. We had Jackie playing from the ladies, right?
Oh,
and she
okay.
bombs
Oh,
it.
geez. Yeah.
So it's good.
That's not even fair.
This used to be called East Bay Golf Course, and now it's called Timpanogos Golf Course. It's just right off I-15 here at, one of the last exits before you head to Spanish Fork.
So, in fact, I think if you're on your way this far, you might as well just keep going and go to Bar W, grab a burger, and then come on back up.
Why wouldn't you? I'm actually half thinking about doing it after the show.
You and me both, actually.
If they'll make me one of them steaks.
That's right. I'm jonesing for one of those fillets, man. There's no doubt. So we'll have a lot to talk about, but there's a lot of excitement, and you kind of feel it in the air. I mean, I know that this is kind of like a homecoming for you, talking to a lot of these guys, and you've been around these dudes. In fact, we've had an opportunity. Come on over here.
Are you playing? He's playing right now, right?
He's playing. Yeah,
afterwards, we want to talk game experience with the master,
Dave Amendola, who is, you hear about the drone shows and you hear about all the stuff that goes on and with the rock and the fan experience down at BYU. He's the guy.
That's the guy. And you know what's crazy? David and I went through the same orientation. In
when you were hired.
2007. Yeah, he came over from Duke, and I was at Utah, and we basically were told how to BYU together.
Yeah, and he is again. That is, I would. He'll never say it, and nor should he ever say it. But I can't imagine the budget that guy's working with.
I can't either. But with it, I will say I don't think there is a better basketball, football combined. I don't think there's a better game experience than we have right here in Provo. Obviously the SEC teams, and they have the big full day events, all that. But actual game experience, lights, drone show, fireworks, you name it. I don't think anybody does it better.
I don't. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I just think that it's in a day and age where teams, professional or college, you're competing with a 100-inch TV that you could buy at Costco for $1,000 for the couch, and you don't have to pay for parking. You can get your own food. You can have the sound bar. You can have a great experience at home. So these teams are realizing, okay, we've got to compete with that and get people out of their houses and come to games because it's real easy. And with TV the way that it is and the game presentation on television, a lot of people are like, you know what? I can save money and just have a great experience at home. So they've got to say, okay, what can we do to get people to a game? Not necessarily just to come and see the game, but to also have an experience at the game as well. And BYU does it better than anybody else, honestly.
Yeah, and it's one thing we talked with Mark Harlan at Big 12. One thing Utah's leaning into, and this money with the venture capital will help them to throw some money at game experience. The halftime games of the junior jazz, or teams, that's kind of flown the coop. That's gone. And so teams are definitely looking for ways to step it up, and I think BYU's kind of the measuring stick.
Yeah. All right, we're just getting started. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard, Tim LaComb. It's the BYU Football Kickoff Golf Tournament. We are live at Timpanogos Golf Club. Coming up a little bit later on, you're going to hear from John Wilner. Stuart Mandel will join the program, and we'll probably hear from more BYU players and coaches all straight ahead right here on the Zone.
When Utah is right here, this is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Out and about today. We are live at Timpanogos Golf Club. It is the BYU Kickoff Classic as we get you ready for the start of the college football season. It's interesting when you look at this year the BYU's got. Obviously, expectations just through the roof. But honestly, too, there is we're going to find out pretty quick because that Arizona game, I mean, it comes pretty quick with these guys.
It does. And, I kind of like the fact that they get that one game, get everything kind of right against Utah Tech. And Utah Tech will fight. It's not like they won't come up here and try to win a game. But BYU's certainly got bigger fish to fry. And I think that will allow them to settle in, and then that it's nice that game's at home against Arizona. The week 4, they're going out to play at TCU, so they'll face great competition, but do it at home and then get out on the road. I like the way it sets up, and I like the vibe. At Big 12 Media Day, I says to a Steely resolve, particularly with the coaches and the players, and I sense that down here too. It's not an arrogance; it's a confidence, and these guys are this has been on the table for a while to be able to take the next step, and this team is going to try to do that.
I remember a year at Pac-12 Media Day, and it was a year that USC was expected to have a really good season. Lane Kiffin was the coach. It was the year that Lane got fired on the tarmac. But leading into that year, everybody was expecting USC to be great. And I remember him walking out and just puffing out his chest. And there's guys that handle expectations very differently. There's some guys that like, all right, let's go. Yeah, we're the big dogs. And then there's others like, all right, we're a pick, but you know what? We still have to put in the work. That means the expectations are high. That means we have to raise our game to meet those expectations. And so some people, I don't want to say rest on their laurels, but also kind of feel like they've earned it, and so they're ready to go out and just kind of enjoy the publicity, and others that feel a sense of urgency because of that. And I think that this BYU team, at least the vibe I'm getting, and things can be very different before it's all said and done, but the vibe you get is like, okay, this is what is expected of us. Let's go get it done.
Yeah, I don't feel like sometimes the expectation can crush you. And the good thing about this team is, particularly at BYU, when you have your quarterback coming back, and the quarterback had a great year and can build on it. I mean, that's such a great thing because that's seems to be the starting point. But again, just the understanding of what they need to do and the fact that, it all starts here in a couple weeks. But I do like the feeling I get. Kalani and K-Pop just walked by to get a drink. They're out there on the course today. Saw Fessy Sataki earlier. Brian Santiago stopped by while we were playing. And it's just, again, it's an anticipation and excitement, but a confidence.
And for good reason. I mean, they have every right to be confident. They have every right to be excited, but that also means that you got to spend a little bit more time in the film room. That means you spend a little bit more time. I mean, because when things are really clicking and everybody's got high expectations, then you were like, okay, well, I got to spend a little bit more time working because I know those expectations are high, and I got to make sure that I do my best to make sure that I fulfill that commitment to our players, to our fans, to Dave Rose, to everybody around me, to make sure that that if something goes wrong, it's not because of something I came up short in.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing I would add too is I think these guys, they're a little bit older, been doing this a while, but the emphasis on leveling up recruiting, the emphasis on getting or refining certain schemes, those types of things, that's been in the works here since the season ended. And now with, practice beginning here soon and these guys taking the field, all that stuff is ethereal until you put it into practice. Yep. And so everything's talk. And I think these guys understand that. But like I said, it's just set up really well for them this year. And they've got the right guys coming back on the offensive side. The receiving core, that's the one thing. When we sit down and talk to coaches today, I want to kind of get their vibe on that. But outside of that, I think this team is, I think they've answered a lot of the questions in the years previous. Yeah,
and it does feel like this is the culmination year.
Yes.
Of everything that's been building over the Kalani Sitake era. This feels like this is the culmination of a lot of years leading up to this. And, so no expectations there.
What an incredible,
no pressure.
What an incredible hire way back when. A guy who, they went away from the family for a couple of hires, and it was fine. They had success, but I think just getting a guy who played for Lavelle, understanding it, really locked into that legacy. Kalani's added a little bit every single year, and this year, I said it, like he's always the first guy to laugh and joke and have fun. But I sense a very steely, focus this year, and still get the smiles and still get the laughs. But then it's right back to, I feel like Kalani knows what he's got too, and they just want to make sure they handle it all the right way.
We're going to, if we do have a chance to chat with Kalani, it's going to be, he's going to joke about his game, might take a couple cracks at his weight. And he's going to laugh. And then, by the way, 2 or 3 weeks from now, when he has his first couple media availabilities, you're not going to hear the joking because he's in season mode. He's not quite in season mode right now. He's going to have some fun, but he's going to click into season mode real quick, and it's going to be all about that business.
Yeah, and that's the way it goes. I mean, he's going to be wearing that massive straw hat. That I think 3 or 4 people could fit under that hat and take shade. That thing's massive, but I can't wait for that moment. I'm excited to get to practices and get some sound and hear what's going on, the vibes. We transition to the actual season from the off season.
So you're a bucket hat guy, right?
Love buckets. I got one in the car. I almost wore one.
Kalani's a bucket / big straw brim hat guy. And then I saw Jake Hatch taking the course. He's a bucket. Like, do I need to make the switch to it? Like, I don't wear a lot of hats, but when I do, it's just an old school, like whatever we pick up at a remote kind of hat. Maybe it's time to be a bucket hat guy.
It might be. You get more coverage.
Can I pull that off?
You could definitely pull it off. You were made for the bucket.
I would think so, right?
Yeah. Oh, easy. You look better than some of those guys you mentioned.
Well, maybe I'll just walk into Timpanogos and go grab me a bucket hat.
Remember, you could always go Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, I do want a little bit of a brim, though, and kind of curl it up on the side, a little pencil curl on the side.
All you would need is that big, like, straw hat and a cigar burning on the side of your cart and say, boys, what hole are we on?
Well,
What's par here?
I reckon that's 327 yards, tucked into the left a bit. So BYU will open up September 5th, as you mentioned, against Utah Tech. A little bit of a tune-up game, and then a huge, massive season that I don't want to say will determine the season, but might very well determine a lot of how the season goes when September 12th rolls around. 1:30 start, Arizona, and all eyes are going to be on Provo in that game. That is when there's a lot of non-conference games that not a lot of people are going to care about. They're going to care about this one. This is going to get a ton of national attention right out of the gate because you will determine who BYU is up against Noah Fafita and an Arizona team that is just locked and loaded and ready to go because they had a rough year 2 years ago, and then last year Brent Brennan says we're going to fix some things. We're going to get this offense going. We're going to make sure that Noah Fafita has everything he needs to be successful, and he responded by having a tremendous year last year. So Arizona, I imagine this game is going to be probably a 3-4 point game in favor of BYU from the Vegas odds makers. They'll get their 3 points for being at home. And other than that, it might be a bit of a pick 'em because that's how good Arizona was last year, and BYU good as well. A lot of it will determine how they look in week number 1, but this is going to be a dogfight right out of the gate, and I could not wait. September 5th, I'm excited about. September 12th, I'm very, very excited about.
Oh, man, I'm excited too. I just give me football. But you mentioned the Fafita thing. I think playing him early in the season, again, the benefit of that is going to be at home. But, being able to really be tested, really trying to contain this guy, because that's what you're doing. You're trying to contain him. You're trying to make throws hard for him. You're trying to, he's a smaller guy, so you're trying to plug up his line of vision, all those things. And they'll get a great test at one of the very elite quarterbacks in this league. But there's a lot that they'll face. So to be able to get that, again, you get your kind of your dress rehearsal against Utah Tech. No disrespect meant, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's a dress rehearsal, and then things line up, and they get live ammunition from, one of the best quarterbacks in the country that has ties to this area and a whole lot of reasons to want to win the game. So they'll be tested, and I like that. I like being able to get your ducks in a row, and then you're playing somebody for real.
Colorado State after that, and then you play Mr. Harvard and TCU.
Which is going to be a whole new mystery in some ways. We'll know something about them by that point.
And that's, I think the great thing about, and again, no disrespect to Colorado State, but you have a bye between Colorado State and TCU. So essentially your first big test on a road game isn't until October.
Right. Which sets up nice, right? Sets up nice. And then, of course, you've got that huge date looming where the Party Hounds are playing in Provo.
Yes.
BYU Notre Dame.
Yes, October 17th. Let's get it, folks. All right, so out here at Timpanogos Golf Club, Stuart Mandel's going to join us coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. Stuart's one of our favorites because the dude breaks down the game better than anybody else. We'll get an update on the congressional nonsense that's going on, all kinds of weirdness while we wait for something to come out. I don't anticipate it's going to go particularly well for what we hope is going to go down unless something has changed since we've hopped on the air. But honestly, this is I think what the world we're living in right now is going to be our world for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and we were hoping for maybe this thing to be able to kind of sneak through, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
No, you're not sneaking anything through these days. Apparently.
Don't hold your breath. Hey, here's the Defensive Player of the Year from the Mountain West Conference pulling up back in, I don't know, Mike Hall. Remember that guy?
Oh, yeah.
Mike works with football now. Had one of the great dunks in BYU history.
I remember that very well. That was nasty.
Yes, it was. Yeah, Mike's support staff helps with academics and life stuff. So one of my favorite people, but he can't hear me quite yet.
How was he to coach?
I didn't coach Mike. I actually coached against Mike, but worked with Mike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mike was our ops guy when I was at BYU.
Ah.
And he taught me a few things on how to hang at the college level. He's a good dude. Enjoyed working with.
Looks
Mike.
like he can still play a little bit too.
Mike, do you still play? You're still playing, right? You're done. He left his shoes on the mat.
I don't know, man.
You didn't know it. I was just we're on air live.
We're on air talking about.
Oh yeah, and I was just telling everybody
All
how
right.
great you are.
I need you for 30 seconds. Just throw on the headset for 30 seconds.
Oh, he's gonna ask you a question about me now.
No. Well, I mean, if you want to spill the beans on Coach, you can. But I want to know how many times do you show people, like, do you bring up the dunk on your phone and show people?
That Air Force dunk.
Not very much. The problem is
The video's so
it's
grainy.
so grainy. You can't tell.
Is it black and white?
Yeah, it's all black.
Hey, trust me,
it could
that's
be-
me.
Yeah, it could be any black dude out there, man. It's so grainy. There was no HD back in the day, man. So it was
Oh,
bad.
man.
It was
I
bad.
don't know. If I were you, I'd be putting that thing on repeat. Anytime anybody walks in my house, I'd have a TV screen where it just rotated over and over because that thing was as nasty as any dunk we've seen.
I know, the problem is if I show it, people are going. The expectations for me to be able to do that still, and I can't do it, man. My knees are terrible.
He still looks like he can.
You
though.
still look like you
good,
could
dude.
go out there and give 20 minutes.
Couple
I'll
of
give you
years,
5 to 7
couple of years, you and I were enjoying that road food too much, and we had to back off.
a ton. I'm just trying to keep my wife interested these days.
Yeah, I know. Like, she doesn't even need to like me, just somewhat
Just
interested.
somewhat interested. I don't want her to look at me in pure disgust. So.
Hey, before we let you go, talk a little bit about your role in what you do here at BYU.
So my specific title was director of player development. So essentially everything off the field for our boys is kind of what I'm over. I touch everything. I help on the academic side. I do all our onboarding, the housing. I do essentially everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more of a kind of a. I almost feel like a guidance counselor.
It's almost a
for these
life
guys.
role, like
It's
you're
more of a
helping
life
them.
role,
Yeah, which is
man.
cool.
I spend 90-95% of my time with the boys, and whatever they need, I can just kind of take care of. So I have a lot of conversation. They spend a lot of time in my office, so it's fun, man.
Almost
It's
like a
really fun.
pseudo psychiatrist for him too.
There are some deep conversations going on, that's for sure.
They
But
call him the Provo specialist. he knows Provo better than anybody.
yeah, it's been fun, man. It's a fun role. I get to get with these dudes doing the onboarding stuff. I'm with them as soon as they get on campus. So I think I'm to the point where I've onboarded every single guy on our team now. So it's actually
That's awesome.
pretty good though.
There,
I like it.
there are a lot of good dudes here today and down here, but honestly, one of the best guys right there
Tim,
on the planet.
appreciate you,
Love
man.
you, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.
You're lucky you get to work with this guy.
I know. I can count it
I
every
can't
day.
say all my good stuff I used to say to you, though.
Well, I know. If we weren't on air, we can talk about that.
Love you, buddy.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Mike. There he is, Mike Hall, former BYU basketball player, now helping with the football team. And you know what? To have a guy that you can lean on and say, like, hey, look, you know what? These are guys that he's a former athlete that guys can relate to, that they can talk to, and has had success at BYU. I think that's a really valuable resource.
Oh, yeah. No question. To be able to, like, somebody's actually done what you did, come to a place you had no idea. Mike's from San Bernardino, never in his million years thought he'd be at BYU. But came, did a great job, and stayed now and is impacting all those guys' lives. I'm jealous of a role like that in a lot of ways because as a coach, just by virtue of what you're doing on a daily basis, you can, relationships are different.
Yeah.
And in that instance, you're just really leaning in and trying to help their life. I love that for
You
Mike.
do need to give him a new golf bag, though.
Yeah, it looks like he borrowed his little brother's.
Yeah.
Although that's probably just a quick, hey, I'm going to.
I know, right?
Yeah, but I'm with you. New bag, Mike.
Yeah. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, 1047. Just getting the show started, what you may have missed coming up. And then Stuart Mandel will join us at 11:05 right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb.
Now I know y'all are tripping.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for another edition of What You May Have Missed right here on the Zone. The story on Tony Romo continues to get a little bit more fascinating as Tony Romo not just pulled over for a DUI, had the old open container of alcohol in the vehicle as well,
that's gonna leave a mark.
That's going to get you. That's going to get you. When you have the open bottle in front of the officer, that's usually a key indication that you're up to something you shouldn't be.
See, this is what you may have missed. We missed this. I should have golfed in high school.
Oh, I know, absolutely.
Like, why didn't we do that? But
yeah.
no, Tony's in big trouble, I think, and we've had a couple of them this week. It's just I don't think any less of those people as people, but they make mistakes, and I think we just hope they don't make another one, and that we're never in this position where that befalls us.
No, that is my certain hope. As I mentioned, that if I screw up my career, it's because you know what, you just lose your fastball and you're not good anymore.
Like for you, laryngitis for like a permanent laryngitis.
But if it's something self-inflicted, something that I screwed up, that I did something on my own to cause my career to end. Then that's gonna leave a mark, because there's nothing like going home and saying, "Hey, guess what? We're gonna have a hard time making the mortgage payment because I said a bad word on the radio, or I, got sloshed and drove home and got a DUI," because our company's not going to put up with any of that nonsense.
And nor should they,
yeah.
Right? And so it's you can look at any level, you can look at any age. It's something that everybody's got to kind of make that choice. But Tony, I'm sure Tony will still be calling games. He'll get through it.
Oh yeah, like this isn't going to impact Tony's professional job whatsoever. Like he'll keep his job. He'll say he's sorry. He'll pretty soon release a statement where he said that this doesn't represent who I am and what I believe in. I will do better. CBS will issue a statement saying that while we support Tony, we cannot in any way, shape, or form condone his actions. We will talk to him and we will make sure this does not happen again, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's going to say the right things. The PR people will get a little bit of overtime, ripping out some statements, some boilerplate stuff, and then after that, it'll all be in the rearview mirror, and nobody will care anymore, unfortunately. When in reality, this guy could have killed somebody.
No doubt. And I just believe that he's the type of guy, he will get a driver from now on.
Yeah.
I think, you get that close to something that could be so bad, and this is bad, but it could have been way worse. That's where you make that decision. In any instance where there's alcohol involved, I'm getting a driver.
Well, and then honestly, too, his job performance has not been great. Like, he started out like gangbusters and was tremendous. Jim, what they're going to run here. Like, his ability to diagnose a play as to exactly where it was going to go was awesome.
That was cool.
And then all of a sudden, he got a little weird on the air. He got a little trying to make jokes. Everybody got uncomfortable, and he's not the most popular dude anymore. And so if you're super popular and you're great at your job, people are going to overlook a lot of things. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. When you start to slip and your popularity starts to diminish, and then you do stupid things, that's when you could get yourself into trouble. So he'll survive this. He'll be fine. Nobody is going to lose any sleep for him, regardless. But he might be on thin ice.
Yeah, it's sad. I know another sad story out of the NFL. Longtime Green Bay Packer legend Amon Green.
Oh yeah,
revealed in a interview on a podcast called "Go Long with Tyler Dunn" that he has been diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's disease in January of 2025. So prayers out to him. Again, life's full of surprises, and it's not necessarily the surprise, it's how you handle it.
It really is. I mean, that's all, look, nothing's going to be roses for everybody. There's going to be issues, and a lot of it just comes down to how you're willing to adapt on the fly, because you're going to get some curveballs thrown your way.
I mean, right out of the gate for me, just the way I look, it was a little stark, trying to get used to that through life, and being more of a face for radio. So we all deal with different challenges.
You are far too good looking for radio. I'll say that.
That isn't true.
Yeah, you got a good head of hair on you. The rugged good looks. And
if I wore a Cleveland Browns mask, I would have it.
The old dog pound mask.
That's what Tony Romo sounds like now when he's calling a game.
Who's a good boy?
Jim.
Poor Jim Nance, too. Jim's like, I don't know what to do with this anymore. Give me back Phil Simms, I guess. Phil was easy to work with. Actually, I heard Phil was not easy to work with, but
Phil was a little tough.
Phil, at least you knew what you got. Phil would show up, he'd be prepared, and he'd be ready to go. I don't think there was a lot of drinking on the job with Phil.
I can almost tell that with Phil because you could look at the way speaking of hair, the guys the way approach their hair, and to me, he seems to be maybe a half can of hairspray guy. And typically those guys are the ones that are wound pretty tight.
Yeah. That's the one thing about being follically challenged is that you don't really have to worry about the hair product.
Right. Hey, get over here.
There he is.
Pick up the headset. Let's do this.
My guy.
When legends roll through, you put a headset on.
So
here's why we rolled through, because Blaine has to go to the bathroom because he's got the bladder of a
hummingbird, huh?
Of a hummingbird.
Hey, Dave McCann joining us.
The Dave McCann, our guy.
The Dave McCann, who I anticipate is going to have a big part on this show here coming up here in a few weeks because do we need to sit on this for a little bit?
No.
Let's make some announcements, shall we?
Can we do that?
Because this is awesome.
New book out, The Legacy of Leadership by Lavelle Edwards. And we talked to everybody, Mark Ogletree and I, and the book comes out August 1st. And
hey, I know Mark from Texas.
Yeah.
The guy Marco.
From McKinney, Texas.
Yeah.
And he's a professor in the at BYU, but it's cool. And we look forward to a chance to come back and talk about it.
Oh, for sure.
Who doesn't like talking about Lavelle?
Well, just the few years that I was able to do the show with him and Mac, getting to know him on a personal level was just phenomenal because, I covered him as a coach a little bit and, knew him a little bit that way. But to see the personal side of him and how people reacted to him, his crazy sense of humor, which is through the roof, dry sense of humor that would just cut you apart and you wouldn't even know it.
We went and spent some time with Coach Mack and his wife and went down memory lane, and they just no one loves Lavelle more than
Mac,
which
Ron
is so
McBride.
cool, right?
And Vicky.
Totally cool.
And I think we're going back into that era.
Loves, Morgan Scally more than Kalani,
exactly.
vice versa.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's cool. Now, when they get after it on the football field or the basketball
that's
court,
legal.
Tim, as it's on. But you know what I love coming in here and saying hi to you guys because that makes Blaine and I officially the clubhouse leaders.
Yes,
because we're here in the clubhouse.
Blaine
now, when
Fowler.
we go back out there, things are going to change. But right here in this moment,
all right.
So I have a Lavelle story for you.
Okay.
Because I shared this with PK. So I was fortunate enough to play in a scramble with Lavelle one time. I don't know how I ended up getting in, but I got grandfathered in, and I learned the Lavelle scramble rule. And that was when you walk up to the, you got 4 balls sitting places, and he just walk up and tap all 4 of them, and if they went in the hole, then that counted. And then if you missed them, then you got to line it up at the best one. So even Lavelle, as good a guy as he was,
that's why he always scored well
a little at golf
in these events. Hey, have we been able to announce the grand appearance of the band?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And
I got to have you be a part of that.
That's
somehow.
for Notre Dame.
Notre
right?
Dame. Yeah,
that's gonna be so awesome. We'll be live just like half block away, but we've got to figure out how to get that live. We got to get a camera down there
for sure,
so we can put you on TV.
Yeah, I'm hoping game day will be there, and that's where we hit the national scene.
It's gonna be awesome.
Both teams coming in undefeated.
Yeah,
there you go.
Hey, we've come a long way from talking after shoot around.
Yeah,
I'm wondering how we're going to stop somebody that night.
Yeah, life is good. This is
it's good times
this is
at
a fun
BYU.
time in our life.
Well, Dave, we'll talk more. I know you got to go golf. Blaine, you guys are probably like 15, 20 under right now, right?
Blaine, if you want to stop through, we'd love to talk to you afterwards.
We've had more lemonades than we've had birdies. I can tell you that much. Thanks, guys.
Which is why you had to make the stop. Bring it full circle.
Dave McCann right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. He and Blaine Fowler as they are in the middle of their golf round here at the Timpanogos Golf Club. Awesome course, the BYU Kickoff Classic going on. All right, take a break. Stuart Mandel joins us next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3CGM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms and readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.